Run.
Okay. All right, my name's Julio and I'm an addict. All right. What a day, huh? All right. When I was a kid, this is the way I grew up. You know, I grew up in Tijuana and was born and raised in San Diego. And back in the day when I was a kid, you know, it was the time when the suiters were turning into the homies, right? There people were in Tijuana. They used to wear their pants all the way up with the little stringers, and dude, they had the big old coats, long with the shell shoes and stuff like that. And they started converting from that, from what was it, 86, 87, around there, into the Nike Cortez, Ben David pants, the Cisco pants and stuff like that, into the homies that you see now, right? And I was still a kid. And in Tijuana, my mom, she separated with my dad, and I was like 5 years old. So from San Diego, we went to go live in Tijuana. So when I'm in Tijuana, I started going to first, second, and third grade, right? And I didn't talk Spanish that good. You know, I was just talking English. So when I was in school, they used to say, hey, look at the pocho, el pocho, you know. And I used to just look at it, what the fuck is a pocho, you know? My Spanish was really broken, so I went to school first, second, and third grade, and I got in a lot of fights with the kids, you know. And I was their easy target to pick on, you know, because I didn't understand much Spanish, you know. So they always used to say shit and say stuff like that, and I wasn't really part of their group, you know what I mean? And when they would call me, hey, Julio, come here, it was always to make fun or laugh at something or laugh at me somehow, some way. Or like one time, this is something that really got me. They had a top, they call them trompos, right? So they had the top with a string, and they're playing, boom, they're singing them, and I'm standing there watching them. You know, I've never seen that before. And there are these metal tops with the little, they're wood tops with the metal, like a fucking spike at the bottom. And when they would spin them, they would go, and I was like, wow, they used to hum, you know. And one of the guys goes, hey, Julio, here, try it, you know. So I grabbed the thing, I put it on there, and I never did it, you know. I went, blah, 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 look at the porch, you can't even spin a fucking top, wah. And that really hurted me, you know, because I seen the way they did it, boom, and it seemed so easy just to pull the string. And when I did it, it all just like crumbled and it fell. They all just started laughing at me, you know what I mean? Another reason to laugh at the Pocho guy, you know? So after that, my mom meets this guy that lived in LA, right? So by 1988, we moved to LA. So we went to go live in East LA by La Marengo and Soto, by the Queen of Angels Hospital in the back, you know. And that place was a gang named Hazard. Back in those days, it was a Hazard gang, right? And
9th Street?
it was on Pico Rivera and Marengo. That's where the hospital's at. We used to live in the back, you know, and it was a Hazard Park right there. And I remember we used to live in some apartments right there. And I used to look out the apartment, see all the homies drinking and little bald guys all tatted up, and they were from Hazard. I had to just sit there and watch, you know, because I was a kid. And there was a lot of drive-bys. Back then, there was a lot of they used to stop, boom, boom, boom. It was normal, you know, and I never seen that before. Tijuana don't have that, you know. I never seen that in Tijuana. Tijuana was mostly just tecatos, a bunch of dope fiends, you know. And here I see a bunch of homies, you know, shooting, getting down and fighting most of the nights and whistling, you know. And they're over here, they're over there, and I used to look out the window, and it was something amused me that it used to kind of like, I would get excited just to hear all the rowdy shit outside. I used to run to the window and look, you know, see what's going on. I see the cops and the helicopters, and I'll be out there, you know, just looking out the window. From there, we moved to Echo Park, and then from Echo Park, we went to Eagle Rock, right? When I was in Eagle Rock, I started adapting the homies, you know, because we were a bunch of little homies right there, so I started using Cortez and my Levi's and stuff like that. And I got myself a Schwinn bike, right? And we started making lowriders out of them. And it had the spears with the little thing going, you know, bouncing and all that. And I was like 10, maybe 11 years old, and I'm riding my little lowrider, and a truck pulls up. You know, I never forget that. A truck pulls up with a gang of homies. They get down and they just push me off. Get out of here, Pee-wee. Fuck out of here. And I'm looking at these older guys, and they stole my bike and my buddy's bike, the two lowriders. And I just looked at him, and internally I wanted to fight back, but this was an older guy. And he goes, "What? Well, fucking get out of here." And he just kind of threw a kick. And I was like, man, I was scared just to say, fuck, bro. And they just put my bike and my buddy's bike in a truck, and they took off. I said, oh, man, I cried for that lowrider bike, man. I cried. My bike. I really liked that bike. Anyways, in LA, I had pretty good experiences when I was there. And I started tagging on walls over there. We used to get the spray cans and tag on the wall and all that. The school kicked me out. So from there, I started going to court. They started taking me to court, do community service, and started going through the system over there. So my mom ended up divorcing this guy, and we go back to Tijuana, right? We go back to Tijuana to live. By that time, I'm like 14, 15. So in Tijuana, I go back there, and it's the same homies that I grew up with when I was a kid. They're like, hey, Poncho's back. What's up, fool? We started kicking back, and now they're more kicking it. I spoke more Spanish, more English, so we're hanging out. Next thing you know, they were not into marbles nor tops. They weren't playing that no more, Now they were into a glue called Resistol 5000, the 5000 glue. That's what it was called. It came in a big old can. It was a yellow glue for shoes. And we went up to a roof. We were in a roof, and they said, hey, Pocho, come on, come kick it. So I go up there, and we're hanging out. 14, 15 years old. They had these bags where they put the bread bags. And they put their hand in there. They put it inside the can. It was glue, and they put it in there. And just blew it up. Here, you want some? I said, what the fuck is that, bro? The guy goes, here, check it out. When the guy starts and I'm looking at him. I said, what the fuck? And he goes, here, try it. Grab a bag. They gave me a bag. I glue it. I started doing it. I started feeling the wow, 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 wow. Boom, I was in the beach. And I just like this. And I could hear the water. I could see the thing. And then it went off real quick. And then when you put the TV on channel 3, like that, that's what I saw. And when I saw the people, I could see the outline yellow. But everything was shh. And then they say, hey, Julio. Hey, fool, what are you doing? Like that. And I'm just like, oh, shit. And I started kind of panicky. And I just sat down on the floor and just stayed like this with the bag. And I was just all fucked up. Next thing you know, I feel my face go like this. Boom, sideways. And then again, And I'm coming to, and I look up, and it's my mom. And she's slapping me. Motherfucker. Wow. And I said, oh, man, that was the first time that she actually caught me high, and it was on Jambo. I said, oh, fuck, From there, we go to the house. She had me grounded, so I stayed at the house. And she would work night shifts in a restaurant. That's when she would leave. And the homies would come over. What happened, fool? You got your ass beat. They caught you and this and that. Right? The next day, they tell me, hey, come kick it at the apartments. I said, all right. So I go to these apartments, and we're hanging out in a living room. And they have an aluminum foil, right? In a glass jar, like a mayonnaise jar, full of crank. They called it peanut butter, right? And I'm looking right there, and this is 1994, and they have that brown bullshit, right? And they have a big old aluminum foil, and they're burning it with a broken pin, just smoking it. And I'm looking at them, and they go, here, your turn. And I grab the pin and go, just smoke it. And start burning the thing, start coming down, and fuck, in the back of my head, I could feel I said, oh, shit. And that was it. I fell in love with that shit, Ever since then, I was chasing meth for the longest time until now, I just quit a year ago. But I love that shit, man. It gave me like fucking all my powers, all my thing. I felt really like a Superman type deal. I felt really like I could do anything, Next thing you know, 1994, I crossed the border to San Diego. I crossed the border every day to go install carpet with my uncle Javier, So I learned how to do carpet, and my uncle used to do a little lines of meth. So he used to tell me, hey, fool, let's do some lines so we can finish this job. I said, okay, so do a little line of meth, and we started installing carpet. And I used to see the meth, and it was no longer that peanut butter. It was some yellow one, and then they turned into the it was like cloud, like kind of foggy white, and then it went clear, like a regular crystal, And I remember the phase, and we're just smoking and doing the thing, installing carpet. One day, this happened in 1997. Yeah, 1997. I was renting an apartment in Tijuana, right? I'm 18 years old. I'm renting an apartment and I'm living with my wife, you know. And I'm 18 years old and I was already married, you know. And my wife was pregnant at the time. And my neighbor used to cross illegal immigrants, you know, through the hills. And they used to put the backpacks full of heroin and coca and stuff like that on the illegal immigrants. So when they cross over the little mountain, you know what I mean, he get paid for the person, plus he gets paid for the dope that they crossed, you know. And I used to see him. He had a brand new truck, and he always had money. He had a nice chain, you know. And I was kind of just looking at him. I used to install carpet. I used to make $200 a week, you know, on installing carpet. And I see these fools with a bunch of $100 bills, and I looked at him. I go, bro, did you cross the border? He goes, no, I've never been over there. I go, fuck, then how do you have a bunch of dollars? He goes, you want some bunch of dollars too? He tells me, big old smile. And then he goes, you're a U.S. citizen, right? I said, yeah. And then he goes, you cross every day to install carpet? I said, yeah, I do. And I had a van. It was a 40 Econoline van, right? He tells me, you want to take some people and I'll pay you $1,000 per person that you cross. And I said, fuck. I go, well, what are these people? He goes, come here, come inside. I went inside his house. He had a bunch of Mexicans all sitting there, scrawny, skinny. And I seen them, they were little short guys. So he goes, just wrap them in your carpet and take them over. I kind of said, what the fuck? Is it really that easy? He goes, yeah. How many times you been on inspection? And I kind of thought about it. I go, at the beginning, but not lately. I haven't been, yeah, give it a try. So I got a couple. It was a husband and wife. So I put them and I put one in carpet and I rolled them up and I put them at the side of my van. I grabbed the wife, laid her down, rolled her up, and I put her at the side of the van. I jumped early. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I go to the border and I'm in the line. I go up to the custom and I go, U.S. citizen, man. Go ahead, bro. I fucking took out, that was $2,000. And I was hooked. That was it. I made $2,000 that day. And I went to go work for carpet. I went and didn't install my carpet like nothing. And then I went back to Tijuana, $2,000. I said, wow. I went and bought myself, it was a car. It was a Chrysler. It was a big-ass Chrysler. It was a 1984 big-ass Chrysler. It looked like a Grand Marquis, but big old fucking mafia car it looked to me. You know what I mean? Like the ones that Al Pacino and Robert De Niro drive, those big old fucking rides. I said, man. And I would put my Mexican music, Chalino Sanchez and Jorge Gamboa, boom, bum, bum, boom, bum, bum, boom, bum. You know, so I was bumping. I felt like a fucking cartel guy because I had $1,000 left. I had a badass ride, you know what I mean? I had $1,000 and I paid like $800 for the car back then. And man, my ego just blew up. You know, I'm fucking driving. But you know, for somebody that never had nothing or money or nothing good, and to have $2,000 overnight, that was a big deal. You know what I mean? My ego went up, bro. I saw everybody small and numbnuts and idiots. You know what I mean? People used to tell me, hey, Julio, you shouldn't do that. What the fuck do you know? You're a fucking numbnut. You know what I mean? You just work in your construction. All of a sudden, I was like, fucking, I was up there because I had money. The way money changes people, you know? Next thing you know, I'm crossing illegal immigrants for so long. I bought a property with 3 homes in Tijuana. My wife has it. Well, my daughter is an owner now. We still have it, you know? Well, she still has it because I have nothing to do with that now. But I really did pretty good. In 2001, when Bin Laden blew up the towers, that's when I got busted. I had 2 illegal immigrants wrapped in carpet and a kilo of coca, right? And I'm driving, and I was like 4 or 5 cars before I get to the border, and they shut the border down. All the U.S. Customs came out, and they started taking us all out. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? It was because they blew up the towers, and it was that Bin Laden guy, you know? So they searched all the cars. We all got busted. So I went to penitentiary. Not much because of the illegal immigrants, but mostly because of that kilo of coca was the one that gave me the 3 years. So I went to, what was it called? Victorville, the FCI in 2002. And it was brand new, you know what I mean? And this is a federal correctional institution. It was FCI and it was brand new, you know what I mean? I had low points. So when I got there, it had about 3-4 months that they had opened, you know? And they had TVs and they had TV rooms. And when we woke up in the morning, it was like 5-6 in the morning. All the Southsiders at home would say, hey, 1-3s, the Sureños. Boot up, put your boots up, because shit was gonna happen. They were fighting for the TV rooms. We were fighting the Hawaiians, the Islanders, they were called, and we were fighting the Orientals for the TV rooms and for the yard sections. Like in the yard, they had the seats with the table, and we were fighting for each. And then in the kitchen, not the kitchen where you go eat, in the commissary area, wherever we go munch out, we were fighting for the area. So we had to wear boots at all times, and we had to put magazines in our stomachs and tape them up. What the fuck, I'm just a kid. I was like, 19 years old at the most, and I've never been to a big prison like that. And I have to wear magazines to go eat breakfast. I have to put magazines, put them on, tape them up in my arms, and then we have to wear the hoodie like halfway, because we had the magazines in our neck in case these guys would come and start stabbing, they won't go through, just to have breakfast. And internally, I was scared, bro. It was a scary feeling just to know, that, hey man, this might happen, and you gotta put this on, and the homies will put it on. I have the jacket, and I was like, fuck, man. I was always scared. Next thing you know, we go in there, and a big old fight breaks out. We're fighting for this place to be able to eat. We didn't even eat breakfast. It's all fucking mess, and they shut us down. So once a week, they would shut us down, and they'll just come and feed us in our cell. They wouldn't let us out, and we go out, and somebody else will fight, the blacks against some other guy. So it was just over constantly. They had riot after riot, so my points went up. Finally, I did my 3 years. I got out. I come outside. I'm in San Diego in a halfway house, right in Boston in 28th Street. I still remember that, in Logan Heights. And I'm right there in a halfway house. I said, okay, time for a change. I'm going to get a job or do something, And I never looked for a job. I always installed carpet with my uncle, so I didn't have to fill out application. I didn't have shit, So the halfway house, they told me, hey, you got clothing? No, I don't have any clothing. And I did it. I had like 2-3 pants in Tijuana. That was it, So he goes, all right, we're going to give you a voucher. You're going to go to this church, and you're going to pick out clothes. I said, I'm going to pick out clothes? I said, yeah. I went to a church, and at the bottom, they had a shitload of donation clothes. Man, it was fucking shopping spree for me. They gave me 6 pants and like 5-6 shirts and sweaters and all kinds of stuff with a little voucher. I just hooked myself up. I was happy. I had a bunch of clothing and everything. Next thing you know, they gave me a big old stack of paper, and they said, pick a job that you like and just call them. So I grabbed the paper, I started looking at it, and I started going. And it was for the Navy base in San Diego, a welding apprenticeship class. I said, I never weld, I've never done nothing, So I called, and the guy goes, yeah, we're hiring. Get over here. I'll see you here tomorrow at 6 a.m. I said, fuck, that was easy. The first call I made, they help you a lot, So I tell the guy, hey, these guys told me to go there at 6. Okay, we have a bus pass for you. Tomorrow morning, you come in, we'll give you a bus pass, we'll give you a lunch, and you go over there. I said, wow. They gave me clothes. They gave me a job. They gave me the bus pass. They give me lunch. And then I get to come and go. It was the big, dude, they helped me out a lot, Finally, I get the job. I start working. Inside the Navy base, right, some guys are smoking out of a light bulb. They're smoking meth. And I'm in there fucking learning how to weld, and I'm looking at them, And I'm just learning how to weld, doing my T1 thing, I'm learning. And these guys are down there smoking meth, and they go, hey, you want some food? And my first thought was like, yeah, I want some. Even though I knew I was on probation, I'm in a halfway house, I can't use, I'm not supposed to use, for the next 3 years, and my powerlessness kicked in. My brain said, no, fool, you're not supposed to use. But I still grabbed it, turned it on, and I started smoking. And in my brain, I'm saying, damn, fool, they're going to find out. You know what? I know what I'm going to do. As I'm smoking, I'm thinking, bleach. I heard that bleach gives you a clean pistis. So when I was all doped out, I went to a 99-cent store. I bought a little bottle of bleach. I put it in water, and I drank it. I couldn't breathe. I said, I started turning purple. I laid in the floor in a park, and I couldn't breathe. I said, holy fuck, After I started catching my breath and I started coming to, my brain said, it's not enough bleach. I need more. Can you believe that? And I took 4 jugs of it. And the 4 times my whole body went, I couldn't, but my brain was saying they're going to catch you. You know, it's not enough bleach. I got to drink a little bit more so it can be in my system. So when I pee bleach. And when I went to the PO and I peed, I came out dirty. I still came out. It didn't do anything. I pretty much almost killed myself for no fucking reason. Dude, that was wild. Anyways, as time went by, I went back to penitentiary, but this time I went to Victorville USP, United States Penitentiary, because my points were high from riot after riot after riot. And right there, I was just scared, man. That penitentiary was brand new. It was a brand new penitentiary in, what was it, 2004. Yeah, 2004. I was out for a few months and that was it. And in 2004, they had opened that penitentiary, brand new. Again, riot after riot after riot. I said, oh my God, bro. I got out of there, right? And they told me, hey man, 0 drugs, 0 alcohol, you can't do nothing. I said, all right. So I went back to the halfway house and I stayed clean. I said, no more. You know, I'm going to do it this time. They gave me a job. They gave me a bus pass. They gave me food. I have clothing again. Everything. They were just hooking me up. You know what I mean? I could see how they helped me. The government really helps if you really let them help you, you know. So next thing you know, I get a job with my uncle installing carpet, you know what I mean? And then I end up renting a room. So now I'm living by myself. And by being lonely just by myself in the room, I didn't really know anybody out there, you know what I mean? And I'm living in Logan Heights, right in the neighborhood, you know, and I would see all the fools out there. And something in me wanted to go out and party. It's something I never did. I never went to nightclubs. I never did none of that. You know what I mean? I was always just a tweaker running in Tijuana up and down, just tweaking and doing drugs, and that was it. I never had money for nothing, you know. So the guys, there was some guys that they used to go to nightclubs all the time, and they told me, yeah, Julio, you want to go to a nightclub, bro? And I go, bro, I can't drink. You know, I'm on probation. I can't use anything. Well, you don't have to drink. Just go and kick it. I said, all right, well, fuck it, let's go. So we went to this nightclub called Didi's nightclub in Chula Vista. And we go there, they have the nightclub, the lights, and they have the live band jamming, everybody's dancing and everything. And just the emotion of being there, I just started drinking, and my brain would tell me, you're not supposed to drink. The minute I started drinking, my brain clicked to want to use meth. I want some dope. And I couldn't shut it off. I started noticing how even if I didn't want it, my brain and body was still magnified towards wherever it was. It would just, who has it, you know? So anyways, I failed the piss test, you know. I went back to penitentiary, and I went back to the USP because my points were still high, the same one, Victorville USP. I get out, 2006. I go back to a halfway house, and I got to do the whole thing all over again, right? This time, the court sent me to a rehab center, inpatient, right? And I'm calling all these places on the phone. I'm calling, is there any beds? No, there's no beds. You got to call again tomorrow. I call again tomorrow. A month and a half went by, and I'm in a halfway house. I can't work. I can't do anything. I have to do the 3-month inpatient rehab center before I can look for a job, you know? So I'm calling. Nobody's getting me. Finally, one of the guys, you know, he told me, hey, there's this place, the AA place, you know, but it's in Spanish. I said, really? He goes, I don't know if they'll take it in Spanish or not, you know. So I get on the bus. We were going somewhere. I don't remember where we were going. I'm on the bus and I see this old car, this 63 Impala, you know, and they had it for sale. And I had just submitted my income tax for the 2004, for the year before that I only worked a few months. And I said, fuck, I looked at it and they wanted $2,000 and I was gonna get like 2,200. So I said, you know, I'm gonna buy it. Nice little ride. So I get off and from the bus and I go in, I'm looking at the car and one of the guys goes, hey, what do you want, man? I go, I wanna see if I can buy this car. He goes, let me call the guy. And they go inside a building and it was an AA rehab center with the meeting at the bottom, right? I'm looking at the place and it said, Alcohólicos Anónimos, Grupo Despertar, wake up group, right? I said, what the fuck is that, you know? So the guy opens the door, he was an AA member. And he looks at me, hey, get over here, man. So I cross the street and he goes, well, you like the car? I said, yeah, I want to buy it. All right, come in. So I sit down, and I'm sitting down, and I'm looking at all the people, and that was a direct therapy meeting, right? Which they talk shit to you. Hey, you motherfucker, I'm talking to you, why? And everybody just sit there, and I'm just looking at them talking shit to each other from the podium, you know, and they're going hard. And they say, hijo de tu puta madre, you know, like saying, your mom's a whore, you motherfucker, like really bad, you know, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is this, you know? But that was the way that type of meeting it was. And just all the commotion and the rowdiness, it was a magnet, you know what I mean, of all the fucking commotion and everybody screaming and everything. I started falling in love with AA. So I asked them if they would take me in. They say, yeah, we don't do call waiting lists. We don't do that. You just walk right in. I said, okay, then what do I do? He goes, go grab your shit and come in. You can't leave for 3 months. So I checked into that rehab, and I fell in love with the program right there, with AA, coming to meetings, having a service, doing the coffee, and it would get rowdy and wild, but I liked it. That's the way it was, because I was coming from that already. So when everybody was wild, crazy, they used to cuss and talk shit and talk about the program, and I would just sit there, what the fuck is the AA book? You know, the 12 steps, what is that? I ended up relapsing later, and then I went and checked in by myself in 2012. I went and checked in again. I relapsed again in 15. I went back and I checked into the same spot again. And they would always open the doors for me. Come in, fool, come in. They give me a bed, they give me 3 meals. You know, we had the therapy room. I had coffee. You know, people would donate cakes, donuts, clothing. Then I fell in love with AA and NA, bro. I fell in love with that shit. That program was AA. But they were all drug addicts and alcoholics. Right? I started working. I started selling cars right there. From there, I used to go from the rehab to sell cars, come back like that. And then from there, I never left the program. I stayed. I had my girl, and then I had my 2 kids. And in 2014, I had my first kid. In 2015, I had my second kid. 2017, I started using again. I never did the steps, you know. I never did. I just used to come to meetings. And 2017, I started using again. My wife, I cheated on my wife, and then she started cheating on me, and we ended up breaking up, you know. And then she left, and I stayed at the house by myself with the kids. So from there in 2017, I met my current wife here in Oregon. And I flew out here 3 times to meet her, and I fell in love with Oregon, you know. So I said, I'm quitting. I'm not going to use it anymore. So I came out here, and I started living with her. The minute I saw a rock of meth, I couldn't say no. I started smoking again. And I said to myself, fuck, man, why can't I just get away from it? Say no, because I'm powerless, but I didn't know that. Finally, in 2024, January 4th of 2024, that's when I got down on my knees and I asked God to relieve me of the bondage of that goddamn drug and to take away my obsession for it, for weed, alcohol, and for meth. I got off my knees and I fell asleep. The next day on the 5th, I woke up. No, it was on the 4th. I woke up on the 4th. And ever since then, my way of thinking kind of changed. Something changed in me where I just stayed sober. Now we opened this meeting, Blessings and Lessons. And I met my sponsor that works he lives in Redmond. And I asked him, can you sponsor me? He goes, look, man, if I'm going to sponsor you, you're going to do the steps. And that lit my eyes. My spirit got lit up right there when he said that. Because I know that the program, it's a 12-step program to have a spiritual awakening. And I never had anybody tell me we're going to do the steps. Never. And when he told me we're going to do the steps, the 12 steps, and I'm going to walk you through them, something in me lit up. I said, man, this is it, you know, and I started doing the steps with them. And ever since then, I've been here, you know what I mean? I just hit a year, and thank God and the program of the 12 steps, and also coming to the meetings and doing my thing, I like it, you know what I mean? I've been sober, my family's a lot better, my wife, at least be able to have a better relationship with my kids. And honestly, life has taken a big fucking 180 turn, to tell you the truth. Everything's changed. And I just want to thank God, NA program, and my fellows in this meeting that come. Because ever since I started coming to meetings with the fellowship, my life has changed a lot. And I owe it to God and to my fellows. And I want to say thank you. And just for today, 0 drugs, 0 alcohol.